All right, Ambush, and today we are joined by a country singer, songwriter, who is a student of the game. She is, this is the work ethic on this woman, I must tell you. She is a graduate in music business from the College of Durham. She is released 3 singles in 2020. She has been continuing to build herself up, and recently she has released a new single entitled No Complaints, which we are here to talk about today with my guest, Jayme Lynne. How's it going today, Jayme?
Great. Thanks. How are you, Colton?
Ooh, I'm having myself a beautiful day. Even better now that we get to talk a little bit about some music, which one of my favorite things. So
I'm excited.
Oh, so am I. So am I. And I want to jump right on in. And of course, I want to lay a little bit of a foundation down for our listener, for the fans, before we get into this new single. So, of course, like I mentioned, you're a graduate from Durham College in music business. And that was 2018. Your debut single comes out February 2020. So first thing that I want to know is, how did you take that knowledge? What are some of the things that you applied to make sure that you hit the ground running with that debut single?
Oh my gosh. I learned a lot in the music business program I took. Too much to list on and on, but just really everything to do with the release. I learned a lot about how to get it out there, how to set it up, and just, I don't know, everything. It was super helpful, and just the artist accountability that comes with being an artist and everything. It's pretty awesome.
There's a lot of little things that go into building up to making sure that a release is successful, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned earlier, was for your debut single, but you had been building up to it for quite some time, because one thing that I mentioned or forgot to mention in that intro is you've also been playing live for quite some time too, and have opened up for quite a few various artists. So it's been quite a period of making sure that exactly that you could hit the ground running. So I would love to know, once you finally got there, February 7th, 2020, what was it like to finally release yourself out into the world?
Oh my gosh, it was a dream come true. It was it was a long time coming, I was so excited to finally start releasing my own music that I, worked so hard towards. And also I got some radio play on a little bit of First Kiss, my debut single, and that was just dream come true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No other way to put it.
Awesome. And of course, I'd love to dive a little bit into that track, of course, too, just to get that vibe of where you started. So a little bit of a First Kiss. Is that exactly what is the lyrics taking us into exactly what the title of the song is? That first moment, that anticipation.
Yeah, the butterflies at the beginning of our relationship. Exactly.
All right. Awesome. And was that a song that you had written in the years leading up? Was that something that was maybe a little more recent that you wrote up closer to the release? When did you actually write that track?
That was actually one that was in the archives. We went through a bunch of other songs, but we just kind of decided that would be such a fun way to start my releases. So I wrote that one years ago with my friend Stephen Adrian Lawrence. Awesome writer.
Awesome. All right. So, of course, that was the first single, 2020.
Yes.
Even though it was a year that many artists had to adapt, you still made the most of it, releasing 2 other songs, getting 3 tracks out there, making some big noise. So, your first true year as an artist, what were some things that you maybe learned from that first year that you tried to apply once again to this most recent single here, No Complaints?
Oh my gosh. I guess just adaptability, the music business changes and evolves so quickly as it is. And then especially with COVID and the pandemic, really affecting everything in 2020, you just have to learn to roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's one thing that it definitely seems like I mentioned there that you did, not just with continuing to release singles, but also a lot of artists weren't able to play concerts, but you took the initiative, made the effort to play some driveway concerts, some backyard concerts. What was it like to continue to keep that live scene alive and play some of these tracks maybe to some new fans?
It was fun. Like that was just so important to me. I love playing live, and I was also doing the live streams like on Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot, which is incredible. That's great. But it's totally different to be face to face with people and because I can't see the other people on the other side of the screen. So being able to do that at the driveway concerts and whatnot was awesome.
There's like you mentioned, the live streams are great, but nothing truly replaces that feeling of when you finish a song and you get that immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you were able to keep that alive, staying busy through this past year. And of course, 2021, there was no singles, but of course, as we mentioned, you're still hard at work though. So what were you doing in this past year here to, what was the wheel in motion on? Was it more music? Was it trying to make sure that you could hit this next year with the ground running once again? How'd it go?
It was a little bit of both, I was playing as many live shows as I could. Obviously COVID did affect that still, but I was doing that and getting ready to release No Complaints. I did the photo shoot last year as well. And I also released a Christmas song at the end of the year.
This is true. There was a Christmas single in there. A big fan of Christmas?
Oh yeah. I'm like an elf from the North Pole.
Awesome. I love it. Very big fan of the season myself too. But of course, we're past that part of the time of year. But you also just mentioned there that the photo shoot for No Complaints happened last year. So you've been building towards this single for quite some time, getting the materials ready.
Oh, 100%. This release has been like the biggest, the most involved. There's been a lot of planning going into this for a long time. So I'm so excited that it's coming out,
Yeah,
it's all unraveling now, finally.
Absolutely. And it looks like a very fun photo shoot for a very fun song. And of course, we're here to dive behind the track, and I would love to dive exactly behind the track. So when exactly did No Complaints come together for you? What was it like putting it together?
So writing wise?
Yeah.
So I actually wrote the first few lines when I was in high school. And originally it was about a girl that was bullying me at the time. And I thought that's what the song was going to be about, but I put it to rest. And a few years later, I took it to a co-write with Al Rowe and Mark Rankin. And we ended up like shifting gears and turning it into the fun, like high-spirited song it is now. But it's kind of funny that it started out completely the opposite of what it ended up being.
Wow. So now that you mention that, I know exactly what part of the song you're talking about there. And that's kind of interesting that one of the verses, the lines that's further back in the song is actually what gave birth to the song.
Exactly. Yeah. And I wrote those lines thinking that was like the opening as well. So it's funny the road a song can take.
Very true. It's especially for ourselves. And then once we put it out into the world, where it goes from there, what other people take from the music and everything else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So when it came to actually getting this track recorded, were you able to actually get inside of a studio? Did you have to send files back and forth? What was that process like?
I was able to go into the studio and record vocals for this. So that was great.
Awesome. And who helped you in the studio? Who's the producer behind this track?
Adam Newcomb. I've had the pleasure of working with him a few times now. He's absolutely tremendously talented and awesome. And Roberta Michelle produced vocals for this.
Awesome. So quite the team helping to bring this track to life.
Yes.
All right. So after a year of not releasing music and sort of taking time, and of course, a little behind the scenes. When we're recording this interview, the song's actually not out yet, but the excitement is still here.
Almost,
So
yeah.
after a full year of not releasing any music, of building, once again, like we said, the materials, getting the song ready, what is it like to finally be on the precipice of No
I'm just so
Complaints?
excited. Yeah, I'm so excited for people to hear the song finally, you know. I've been playing it live for years and years, and it's like even when I did start playing it live, it's taken a lot of changes along the way to what it is now. So there's a lot of my fans who've heard the song before, but not like this. So I'm very excited.
Oh, so they might have a little bit of a surprise coming their way. They'll get halfway through this track before they even realize what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Amazing. So, of course, another thing that I really love is with every track that you've released so far, you've happened to get some incredible visuals, some music videos done for them. So, can we expect the same thing here with No Complaints?
100%. Like I said before, like this release has been the most planning, like to date, of releases I've done. And the same goes for the music video. There's been a lot of planning and a lot of really fun things we're involving in the music video. It's going to be pretty epic, and I'm very excited for that as well.
Okay, and I'm sure you don't want to give away too much, so I'm not going to pry too hard there.
Yeah.
But based off of the imagery so far for the single and the photo shoot and everything, I can imagine it's going to be quite the time.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I love that stuff. I love photo shoots and video shoots.
Ooh, well, if the listeners want to stay up to date with when that video comes out, they're definitely going to have to go ahead and follow you on social media. Probably subscribe to your YouTube channel then, hey?
Yeah, exactly. At Jayme Lynne Music.
Oh, perfect. And I will put some links down for the listeners in the description to today's show as well. Make it nice and easy for you to go and listen to not only this new track, but also those 3 other tracks that came out in 2020. You want to get yourself some Jayme Lynne in today? Absolutely, right?
Exactly.
Hey, get that catalog in you. Get some good vibes going. And of course, the past songs are great. And of course, we've been talking a little bit about the future. And without giving away too much of what the rest of the future holds, what can you tell us here about 2022 for Jayme Lynne?
2022. Well, like I said, the music video is coming out next. And then I have a couple more singles for you guys. And my debut EP, I'm hoping, is coming out at the end of the year.
Ooh, all right. Awesome. So then, once again, definitely going to have to go ahead, follow you on social media, follow you on their favorite streaming platforms, because you do not want to miss out. New music on the way. Jayme Lynne taking over this year. Awesome. And I have had a blast chatting here with you so far today, Jayme. I have one last question. Are you ready for it?
So ready.
All right. So we have talked about this process, this time of finally releasing your own music, building yourself as an artist, getting towards this new single, No Complaints. What I would like to know now is, how have this past couple of years here, how have they helped you to either grow as a person, or what have they taught you about yourself?
Just the past few years of like COVID specific, or just like...
How has building yourself as an artist and releasing yourself into the world and all of that, how has it helped you in other aspects of your life?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I've learned a lot about, I've learned a lot about balance, you know? There's like an endless amount of work to be done as an independent artist. And it's really easy to get super busy and wrapped up in things. But I've really learned to, you know, try to have balance where I need to. So like also make time for family and friends and me time, you know, like I can get pretty wrapped up in being like the busy bee. So
hey, like we mentioned earlier, you got quite the work ethic on you. So I can imagine that there's got to be some time needs to be taken to rest, right?
Yeah, that's important.
Got to recharge so that when you get back out on that stage again, you can hit it full force.
Exactly.
Hey, all right. right. And I cannot wait. I'm sure the fans cannot wait as well. But until then, they have this new single, No Complaints, to go jam out to, dance around in their room, maybe grab a hairbrush microphone and have some good times, some no complaints of their own, right?
Exactly.
Hey, all right. Jayme, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to dive behind this new single here with us today on the DTP.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Colton.